and welcome back to Aston Martin and F1 Manager 2022. I would say for the last time in 2022, but technically this will go down as Season 2, Episode 0, as we deal with the end of season stuff. Drivers, engine manufacturers, and I'm not sure what else. I could have done facility upgrades, it seems, because things did still progress. I thought that was like an end of season thing immediately there. We nearly actually got the long-term objective in the end, but of course we started scoring points too late. So our team rating stays the same? Our team bonus 1.5 million. I don't know if that's just a board bonus. We need to sign drivers now, do we not? Yeah, drivers are open to negotiation again. So Albon's up to 81. That would be the sensible move, probably. It's weird that the contracts went from being, oh, it's 4 days away. So maybe that's when you do it. You wait for the contract to actually be over, because otherwise they just won't be won't be free agents. We will do the factory upgrade, because it was getting borderline on the condition anyway. How much does that take? 10 million to upgrade the suspension. I might just hold off until we do contract stuff. So they're secured in. We're not changing our staff. Right, so go to drivers. Vettel now is out of contract. Or is it 1 day? It's reverted to 4 weeks again. So now there's a decision to be made. Yeah, so none of the top 4 or top 3 teams want to talk, but Esteban might. Lando Norris's buyout fee is still 15 million. I mean, just for the sake of argument, will you accept a pay cut, Seb? Because yours is ridiculous. Like, your competitors effectively for this seat are kind of maxing at 6-ish. I know he's going to say no, but for the sake of narrative, this is why we're doing it. As much as I like you, Seb, you need to be more realistic. There we are. They've got an image here of when the team roster updates are, and it says 1st of January on it. So I have to do it within this month. That's what I wanted to know, basically. In that case, who? Ollie Behrman's actually an F2. Can't put him in a car till he's 18, though, I don't think. Or at the very least, I won't be putting him in a car till he's 18. Just because, yeah, it is a new gen into F3. Female driver. Shame they're 20 already, though. I don't know who to go for. Basically, it's a 3-way fight between Schumacher, or 4, I should say. Ocon, Schumacher, Doohan and Piastri are kind of identical in that respect. I just feel like Piastri's a bit done already. That's my only concern there. I'm just going to list the main options and why I'm hesitant to go for them. Esteban Ocon is obviously the highest overall rating. He's affordable, but he's another Frenchman, and one's already enough in a British company's car. And of course, in real life, apparently Ocon and Gasly don't get on. So for realism's sake, I'd kind of want to avoid it on that respect. Piastri is, I just feel, a bit common. Jack Doohan is a choice, and I feel like he's kind of behind Porsche and Piastri when it comes to signing drivers in F1 Manager 2022. I've seen Doohan in a couple of places. I think it might be because he's actually the reserve driver to start with normally for someone, but isn't here. I'm not sure about that. So whilst he is the lowest rated of the actual F1 drivers that I'm considering, I am leaning towards Mick Schumacher because it is narratively the most sense. Because if we are going to lose... Oh, I forgot about Albon. Yeah, it's basically Albon versus Schumacher. But Mick makes the most sense to me narratively. Because if we are going to lose Vettel, because financially it's just stupid more than anything. If we are going to replace Vettel, then who better to replace him with than his protege? It guarantees Mick a seat as well, because he's going to be out of contract, so it's never guaranteed he's going to get into a good car. Typically, I've seen Mick end up in Williams at the end of in the next season. Mick's obviously a lot worse because he's 4 points lower off. His pace isn't horrible, his consistency is actually pretty good, but his racecraft's relatively low. And as for Albon, his pace is okay again, his consistency is pretty good, but his racecraft is better. He's low. Oh, I didn't know Albon was low aggression. So it's the 23-year-old versus the driver with the number 23. So the low aggression might have actually just sealed that. Yeah, they're both average potential, which feels a little bit harsh on Mick, to be honest. So if no one's going to talk me out of it, he's on 500 grand already. His bonus threshold is 10th to begin with, but his bonus is going to be his bonus is going to be negligible. So it's 540, 50. Actually, before I go any further, give him his bonus point. Oh, that took Pierre to 85. I kind of want to do this because it puts Pierre in the better garage, just so he does it now. Good, right, there we are. Now we offer Mick car 2. I just realised that was a very abrupt end to Vettel's career there. I didn't say goodbye to him. Sorry, Seb. Should have really done more there. I mean, if he generally accepts 100 grand, this is going to be... He's got a very high patience, so we're going to get a better idea of what he actually wants. But if he agrees to the same contract he's on at Haas, this is mad. Okay, good, right. You just have some... You know what? I'm going to offer him exactly 100 grand a month with basically an extra half a year. I don't mind paying a little bit more. We'll try a third of a year as a starting bonus. And then we'll just turn the race bonus to 100 grand. I kind of want to know how far off we are here. Oh, he's happy with 1.2. Sure. Okay, then. Done. And that's obviously confirmed how much money we've got left over as well, which means we can upgrade that. It's 8 million. I don't want to tip under too much. We'll upgrade the races later as well, just so everyone gets a bigger gain over the course of the time. Welcome, Mick. And more research has been done. I don't think there's much else to do at this stage until the first. Oh, Scout Technical Chiefs. Is anyone actually interested? Whilst we did change these last year, because the ones that originally were terrible, or he's got a development point, who is the best one that is actually open to negotiation? Right, new season time. We're upgrading Suspension Center. We're upgrading the Team Hub as well, the Driver Hub, so they get better bonuses because it was about to tip under onto 80% conditioning, and it did indeed tip under 80% on conditioning, except of course we're now improving it anyway. Sponsor obligations. So these are all guaranteed things, I think. Okay, so merchandising is a pay now versus income over time question mark, and actually the more income you do per race brings it up. So the pre-season lump sum will be 10 million. Okay, I quite like that as the compromise. Is that 370 grand per one? Or is that just 370 grand full stop? So it's, what, 100 grand difference? Yeah, that's got to be per race. Quite a upgrade, actually. It'll be 100 million over the course of the year, effectively. The objectives are only 8th or above again. I thought you just took what you did last year. The long-term objective has not been completed, though, so that's probably part of it. Or is this just the review? This is the review. So, plenty of money still in the bank. We're seeing some research has been done. It's kind of hard to track what's actually important here. So the season price share, because we are 5th, this is going to be a regulation change, but we get 62 million this year. Next year, we'd actually get 6 million less. And we're going to get a point for pole positions next year. I've been in the wrong place for this one, but fastest lap bonus point remains the same. Double points for the last race is going to be a thing next year, so that would have actually made the last race interesting and given Pierre Gasly 50 points. But it would have actually left that last race as a valid race because Sainz was only 43 points ahead of Verstappen at the end of that season, so he could have caught him. But thankfully, the points allocation remained the same, even though it seemed to threaten that as a problem. Of course, because we finished 5th, our hours go down. I think we actually had 6 last year, hours, so we'll only have 5. So actually being 5th versus 6th has cost us there, and probably the same here. It's only 4 hours less, but we had 80, so we must have been 7th last year. So we've only got 8 hours less this year, so it's not that bad. And everything else, gearbox-wise, has remained the same. We are, of course, with Mercedes as standard. Now, over the course of the year, what do we have the most issue with? I'd probably say the gearbox, because Seb gained an extra gearbox and still nearly ran out of gearbox at the end of the year. So Mercedes gearbox durability is 40%. We had a minor issue with the ERS as well over the course of the year. We nearly ran out of another one of those. We took one extra and we were okay, but the last one, the one we did the last race with, was still on 50%. So thermal resistance. Now, what does that mean? How prone the engine is to overheating when it isn't cooled effectively. High resistance means less aerodynamic cooling is needed to lower the engine temperature. What is the engine temperature effect? That must be engine durability. No, engine durability is there. I was thinking, because Ferrari's the same price as Mercedes. So the engine wear on the Ferrari is slightly worse, but the threshold is higher. Wait, is that a good thing or a bad thing? The implication is that it's a better thing to have a higher percentage. So it implies that it can wear down to 15%, or 20% in this case, before it's a problem. So the implication with Mercedes is as soon as it hits 30%, then the engine is knackered, basically. That's the way I'm reading it. Mercedes is the slowest of the engines. It just feels weird taking a Ferrari or a Renault engine in an Aston Martin. Like, if you're Haas, then sure, pick who you want. Then again, Aston Martin is a rival of Mercedes as well in real life, just in terms of road cars. So for the same price, you can get the Ferrari. Or you can compromise your ERS durability with the benefit of better gearbox durability and get the Red Bull and save 5 million. As the maximum power, it's much more fuel efficient though, the Ferrari. It's a surprisingly complicated dilemma, this. To summarise, the big problems last year were gearbox durability and ERS durability, I would argue, along with fuel efficiency in certain places, but that felt more racetrack dependent. It felt like a specific pair of races in particular had big issues with their fuel efficiency, just the way they're coded. Mexico, obviously a main example of that. And the last race in Abu Dhabi, if it hadn't been for safety cars. But we're discounting Renault, I think, just in general, because the gearbox durability is even worse. That's the main reason why. There's other downsides to it. But at the end of that season, I wasn't comfortable with the fact that Seb was basically on his last gearbox and that was even an extra gearbox to begin with, and it was close to being a problem. Pierre obviously broke a gearbox because Max Verstappen ran into him at one point and then had a much fresher one at the end of the season. So Pierre circumnavigated that by being taken out of a race previously. The ERS, however, both drivers at the end of that season, their last ERS, which again was an extra ERS anyway, I don't think you can get through the season without an extra of anything, but that extra ERS that we had at the end of the season was still on about 50%, so it was getting quite low at the end of the season still, and that was even whilst mitigating the wear on the main one by using a used one in practice. And I am being swayed by chat immediately because first time chat, I wish I took Ferrari. The fuel doesn't concern me too much, but it's the gearbox durability, the 10% extra gearbox that's getting me. Now, obviously the gearbox is even better on the Red Bull, but the fuel efficiency is worse, and the ERS durability is worse. And the ERS concerned me at Mercedes as well. So I'm inclined to go Ferrari. It's the same price as the Mercedes, and it's more power to begin with. It's weird going to be an Aston Martin Ferrari, but on the basis that Mercedes are also a rival road car-wise, it feels less weird. And of course, Mick is a Ferrari junior driver. The narrative is there. Oh, we actually don't have any money, but I'm assuming we're going to get money momentarily. Team roster updates. Ferrari, stay. Red Bull, stay. Even their reserves remain, I believe. First drivers for Mercedes and Alpine remain the same. Second drivers remain the same, as do their reserve drivers. Oscar Piastri actually hilariously still there. Of course, we've changed Pierre and Mick now for us. Lance Stroll has moved to Alfa Romeo from AlphaTauri, just to be confusing. Reserve drivers remain the same. Sebastian Vettel did actually just go straight into the Haas. No other changes there, except Nico Hülkenberg has joined McLaren as a reserve driver. He was actually AlphaTauri's reserve driver for the second half of that. And AlphaTauri has reacquired Alexander Albon and Jack Doohan. Frederick Vesti has become their reserve driver. Porsche was already Williams' reserve driver at the end of that season, but they have changed their driver lineup to Zhou Guan Yu and Yuki Tsunoda. No Latifi. There is no Latifi and no retirements because Seb is in the Haas. I must say the automatic Photoshop job of Seb in the Haas outfit doesn't look great. Obviously we get some allocations now. I'm assuming we get some money momentarily. Cole will get some points in the off-season, so we'll finally get his braking up to 55 and he actually gains a point overall. Did our staff members get any points in the off-season? Yeah, that guy did. And actually gains an overall in the process, as did Mixed Race Engineer. Yeah, we'll swap them over because he's got the affinity with Pierre already. So yeah, Pierre's still in car 1, but we'll still have race of Michelle. Glad I called that before we went any further. And most importantly, our drivers are getting the maximum weekly gain now. Ollie Colbert will be gaining 700 points a week, and the regular drivers will be getting 200, or less in Pierre's case. Trying to work out at what point we're going to have money. That's being upgraded right now, so that doesn't need refurbing. But I guess we can start developing what? Did we have the car review? Did I miss that? Just the roster. Internal car report. That's what I wanted. So overall, the car is seemingly better than last year's. Top speed in DRS is massively higher. That's quite nice. And the high speed is hugely better. That's what we liked. In fact, all the cornering speeds are much better. Along with the cornering, I think that's taken into account the minus 30% from last season. So if we're to analyze our car, the grid average is still better in everything, except low speed. In fact, where do we rank? Quite poorly. Again. Okay, that's annoying. I may have messed up here a bit, because we don't have money, but I'm going to have to develop something. What do we need? Medium speed? That seems to be the highest. High and medium speed seem to be relatively good at the beginning of the season. I thought we were doing well into next year, but apparently not. So we have 5.4 hours remaining, so... Oh, it does say insufficient funds. I thought you just stayed in the black. I thought you just went into the negative, because you can... It's weird that you can't deliberately go into debt. You should be allowed to deliberately go into debt, because that's one of the things they get angry at you for. What's the point of having the monthly financial report saying, good news, you've not gone into debt then, if you cannot go into debt deliberately? Obviously, you can go into it unintentionally at the end of the season, like I just did, but good news is that's going to improve the brake cooling going forward as well, so I can put even less focus on it. Oh no, I can go Ferrari. It just put me in... Going to Ferrari put me in the negative in the first place. Right, so do I lose all my scouting drive? Oh no, I don't lose my last... I thought you lost the scout reports from last year, so we'll scout Bottas then, and we'll go scout... I know he's not interested, but we'll scout George. He might be by the end of the season. I feel like I've missed some money. There we are. There's 4 million. Stop! Stop! Right, so I don't think he'll get there for the first race. No, he might get there for the first race now. Okay, so I was prevented from making any new parts because we didn't have enough money, which seems like a weird game attribute to have in a game that has a thing that tells you, good job, you're not in debt at the end of every month. It's a little weird that it won't let you make new parts that make you go into debt, but allows you to assign an engine manufacturer that will put you into debt. But I'm in the way of showing you what I'm actually doing here. So we need high speed. We don't need brake cooling as much. So we'll actually leave that as is, actually, I think. 60 days. The next race is 43 days, and we'll do it normally. Of course, we can do 3 projects at once. I completely forgot about that. I wonder if I can get anything done in time. Once again, focusing on the high and medium speed and leaving everything else sort of to chance. That'll take 31 days to do as standard. I might not actually put any engineers on this, you know, because it's going to get done in time anyway. Doesn't seem that, I mean, it's suspension, so it doesn't seem like that much of a boost. Kind of want it done with 36, just so there's enough. Oh, I'll just leave it at that. 38 days will do me. It'll be done in time, so I don't feel like they need to put more than one engineer on it. 900 grand, I can do it on intense, so they get better information on it. Sure, it'll be done in time. And then I can just build something major with the remainder. In fact, I might do something that's relatively minor still, or something that at the very least will use up my remaining time and provide me with high and medium boosts. This will take 60 days as standard, and it probably won't be done in time for the first race, so that's not huge. But DRS top speed, I don't think we need a lot of. It's not too bad, that one. In fact, I can show you the rank. Oh, it is terrible still. Ooh, that would actually... 71 days to do that. Still feel like we're not good. 57 days. If you do it on rushed, you can get it done in time. 57 days. So it won't be done by the first race, but it will be done by the second, I think. I kind of don't want them to not have the expertise, so I don't mind having a part that's not in by the first race. We should get another 4 million at the end of the month. I think you basically, that's what happens. You just get 4 million at the end of every month. 2 points again for Ollie Caldwell. All goes in. I mean, his consistency isn't horrible. His smoothness needs to be much higher, but it's the pace that needs something on Ollie Caldwell. And similarly, we'll start scouting some of the bigger boys, just in case things go wild. I mean, I feel like we just skipped past a major... Still got high confidence in me. Right, yeah. The results from Barcelona aren't promising again, but we are building new car parts. And there's a new ATR period again, but we're using all our space. Kind of feel like there's not much point refurbing that just yet. Right, important. Suspension is in. When's the race? 8 days. We get 1 normal. We can get 2 on rushed. And then rush 2, and we should get it in by the race. Lovely work. Oh, so actually, yeah, I can develop another part again. Because I might have only had 1 person working on that, so I kind of want to wait till I've got a few more engineers again. Oh, top speed, we're now 11th, so that's good news. That's up a bit. That's the one that has all the engineers on it. So I'm going to have to emergency 4. It's kind of minimal gains on everything, except the percentages on dirty air and brake cooling, etc. And we'll just develop 2 as standard, just so we've got 6 of them. So now we can develop another piece again, and this time we'll develop an underfloor, which is one of the major pieces. And I might skew it higher as well, just because I want it to last the majority of the season. I mean, that's a huge drag reduction already. 75 days, I don't know where that comes in race-wise. It will bring us first in the low speed as is already, so we don't need to focus on that. You only get to 9th, so just trying to look at our overall here. I think we leave it like that. And I think we generally put all 6 of our remaining engineers on it. 57 days, I don't know when that comes out, but we'll go normal on it, because I don't know what intense costs a lot. We do get the suspension in time, but obviously we're not doing this race right now. I'll set up the targets. I want to see what the payouts are. I kind of actually don't want to over-egg our finish position, because it didn't look like that we were that good. Can I change the... I can change the streak. I'll set that low to begin with. I mean, that seems like minimal risk. It doesn't come in. Both drivers have a point to prove. I mean, you're quite good in everything except the actual racecraft, annoyingly. And any final points to attribute to our staff? No, we don't. So there we go. There's our situation going into Bahrain next time out. Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher will line up for Aston Martin, who do want 5th or above. That was never given to me, I don't think, in a message, but... Oh, the season objective is only 5th, so they don't want 4th. Interesting. I thought they always wanted the place ahead of where they finished last time. So 5th or above is the objective, so that's nice. That, I think, is achievable over the course of the season. We'll develop Mick. Obviously, we've got Pierre leading the line, being our primary point scorer. Fingers crossed, and our car will be soon in line in the fight again. Momentarily, of course, Pierre should outdo that. I'm looking forward to this season now. Money-wise, we seem to be in a lot more bother than we were last year. Good to know going forward, just to be a little bit more conservative with your money. We did spend big on 2 large facility upgrades, and that's what's cost us there. But we've managed to get the car vaguely in line again by the start of this season. So I'll see you soon for that race. If you're looking forward to it as much as I am, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal by now. Until next time, ta-ra.